Hey everyone, I am back and I finished painting this. And then I hung it up. And I usually hang things up to dry. And then when you look at this from a distance, like, even though this is really bright green and it should pop, and in theory it should work, from far away, this disappears. And I need to fix that because that's not good. So, it's just, it doesn't work. That green doesn't work. So, I gotta fix it. And occasionally these things happen, and you just have to be like, okay, it didn't work. And you don't fight it, because there's no fighting it. There's no saying, well, no, you just gotta fix it. So I'm gonna fix it. So I took that blue, or not blue, but that tealy green that I used, and I added some yellow. And I'm gonna try and make a darker chartreuse, or a lighter teal, or just a color. How's that? Just a color, a different green. Ooh, that is a very vibrant green. I have no idea what it's going to turn out once I've actually finished, but, you know, painting. I just added more paint because I was like, well, what happens if I run out? And, you know, custom color and all that. We all know what happens when you run out. Then you got to mix it again, and then it'll never be the same because there's no way to get one blob to match another blob that you just blobbed in. Anyway, painting is not baking. It's just cooking. Because when you're baking, you know, you like use exact measurements and stuff. But I am not doing that. And I'm trying to use a little tiny brush and stay in the lines, which is kind of hard because and I have a little Band-Aid on my wrist. Should I tell you guys why? I was outside drinking coffee on my front porch. And my little kitty cat was sitting next to me, and we were all chill, and everything was going great. And a big pit bull ran up, and I yelled, "Go away, go away." And the cat took off running, and she ran sideways on my porch from my little chair thing. And as she ran, the dog came up on the porch, and the dog pushed me out of the way, and it was a big old pit bull. It was a whole thing. And the dog, I was barefoot too. So of course the dog is like pushing past me, and I'm screaming, and it clawed up my foot, you know, like stepped on my foot and clawed. It didn't, I don't think that was like intentional. And then it pushed me to try and get at the cat, and knocked me down and scraped my hand. Did not get the cat. So I guess, you know. That was good. And then my daughter came out, and that was a whole other thing. I'm screaming at her, go in the house, go in the house. She's not going in the house. She walks all the way outside, and I'm like, get in the house, get in the house, get your dad. Because I know sometimes a doggy won't obey a woman. But if it's got a male owner, it will obey a man. So I'm screaming at her, go get your dad, go get your dad. And she just comes outside. She walks all the way to the mailbox. The dog comes over to her. I'm freaking out. And she doesn't know what to do. So she starts pausing and she's yelling at the dog. And I'm like, get in the house, get in the house. Just keep walking, get in the house. Don't touch it, tell it to go away. Just walk in the house, get in the house. At some point, I think I yelled, screamed, as a matter of fact, get in the effing house. Except for I didn't say effing. So I totally lost my crap. But that's also because, like, you know, my foot's bleeding. My arm is damaged. I didn't even know my arm was damaged until, like, after this. Because I could feel my foot hurt. I knew I got pushed over and fell. And I actually had, like, there's, like, a table there. And when the dog is pushing past me, I'm falling and knocked my coffee cup ended up falling on the ground and breaking. It was like so much drama. I'm screaming at her, get in the house, get in the house, get in the house. Because, you know, this is a big pit bull and it's not following directions. And I have no idea if this dog is going to just suddenly decide to really attack us. Because it's not obeying any instructions. Like, go home, go away, stop, heel. You know, I ran through the gamut. Anyway, she finally gets in the house. I tell her to get her dad. I finally have to go back over to the table and get my phone because I have since, you know, moved to the other side of the porch by the front door. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a run for it and grab my phone. So I go to grab my phone. I take a picture of the dog. I'm about to call animal control because I don't know what else to do. And I'm looking up the number to animal control when a minivan pulls up. And the guy gets out. And he's grabbing the dog. And I'm like, hey, wait, you need to talk to me. Your dog just attacked me. And he's like, oh, shit. And he's like, okay, well, let me get the dog confined in my van. And he does. He gets the dog in the van, rolls up the windows. He comes over to talk to me. And he is like, I am so sorry. He's like, where were you bit? And I was like, well, I wasn't actually bit. And he's like, okay, what happened? I explained what happened. And he's like, well, if you would like, we can call the police. We can do whatever you want to do in this situation. You are in control. And I am like, because I'm standing there in my pajamas. I had slept in. It's like 10 something. I don't know, like 10:45. And I'm in my pajamas. I got no bra on. It's such a, like, dumb thing. Because I should have, like, just went out back. I have lawn chairs out back. I could have just, you know, went outside, out back, had my coffee, not had any of these problems. But I like to go sit out front because usually out front is where my cat is in the mornings. She likes to hunt the birds in the yard. So anyway, and she had ran off at this point. She had bolted. But anyway, I talk with him. I say, no, let's not call the police. I don't want your dog put down or anything. I mean, it scratched me. It's not a big deal. It's not like I don't have to go to the hospital for it. I wasn't bit. But, you know, your dog is not following instructions. And when it's told to go home or stop or leave or whatever, it's just not listening. And that's not okay, you know? Like, your dog got out and it's in my yard and it did push me over and was not following instructions to heel, stop, go home, whatever, leave. And it, you know, obviously tried to attack my cat, which I understand is a natural dog instinct. But at the same time, not cool. Because if he had gotten my cat would be dead. Because, you know, it's a big dog. It's a big dog. Anyway. We talked. He said he was going to go get a chain for it. He said it's actually an indoor dog, believe it or not. He normally keeps it in the house. It's jumped over the fence before. He knows it's a problem. He's so sorry. It was immediately, as soon as he saw the dog was missing, he came and started looking for it. He's, you know, and he told me where he lives, and he's literally my neighbor. He's one street over. And I didn't obviously recognize him because he's one street over. And, you know, he didn't even know what street he was on. He said, am I on this street? And my husband, who had, by that point had come outside, had said, no, you're on this street. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, then I'm just, and, you know, he explains where he lives, and he's been driving around looking for the dog, which I believe, you know, he was driving around looking for the dog because he pulled up and immediately, you know, calls his dog, and the dog went straight to him, and immediately, you know, he grabbed it, and the dog was completely, you know, happy-go-lucky when his daddy was there. I don't know, like, is that weird? Do you call it, like, a dog daddy? Anyway, dude said he was very sorry. He said he would go to Ace Hardware. He said he absolutely would get it a chain from now on, so that if because he said that he just takes it out in the backyard, and normally he, you know, stays out there with it, but occasionally he doesn't. So if he's gonna not stay out in the backyard with the dog, he will chain it up, you know, to give it some run time or whatever, and make sure that the dog cannot, because he's already got a 6-foot fence, which, yeah, that's great. The dog can jump a 6-foot fence. So, and I believe it. I've seen pit bulls jump that high. But also, you know, it could be like furniture or something next to it or something. Who knows? Anyway, he said he was going to the hardware store right now. He would buy a chain. He would buy a stake. He would make sure that the dog never got out again. He was very sorry. And yada, yada. And so anyway, my foot was bleeding. My hand was bleeding. The dog didn't do the hand. I didn't even realize my hand was bleeding until I went inside. That was a scrape from me being pushed by the dog. And me trying to catch myself on, like, scruffy brick planter. So, drama. He was really nice, though. I was not nice. I was, like, shaking. I'm terrified of dogs, by the way. So, like, as soon as I saw the dog, and I know right next to me is the cat, I'm like, go away, go away. because it just came lumbering up, and I was like, oh God, this is going to end badly. But I did block the dog for a minute, and it couldn't get by me. So that's why it pushed through and lunged at the cat, was trying to get the cat. Well, like I said, my cat, like, is smart. It ran off. And then he was sniffing around our yard and our vehicles, probably because he smelled the cat. And he just hung around my yard. Because I'm trying to get my daughter in the house. Anyway, she's got the instincts of a fish, apparently. What's that? You're screaming? You're out here screaming, Mom? Let me come outside. Me, get in the house. Continues to walk. What the hell? If you hear screaming and you hear your mother saying, get back in the house, multiple times, you should probably get back in the house. And her response to me saying, why did you not go back in the house, was, well, I wanted to see what was wrong. You know, she is one of those characters in a horror movie who will end up dead. That's right. She is going to be the first one to go. And I will be the character in the stupid movie that gets killed second, because I've been yelling at her the whole time, get in, let's go, let's go, but is unwilling to leave my friend. You know, there's always that one that, like, the friend gets killed because they don't just, like, leave their idiot friend. Yeah, that's me. Except for it's my daughter. Kind of like under an obligation to, like, stay there and be like, get in the house, because, you know, I don't know what I was going to do if the dog attacked, but I did recognize, you know, hey, it's a huge pit bull, it can kill us both if it wants. I have nothing against pit bulls. I do have something against big dogs that are not properly trained. Your dog should be trained to understand stop, go away, heel, something. And this dog was just not, you know. I'm sure it's a perfectly lovely, oh crap. I'm sure it's a perfectly lovely dog at home. Its owner loves it. But to a stranger who does not want this big dog coming up to them or in their yard, you know, it needs to know to go home. Go home, go away, stop, heel, something. And no, I'm not a dog owner. So, maybe I just don't understand. Maybe I don't understand. I think I'm going to let this, I don't know how I'm going to keep drawing. I have to go over it again. This is not looking nice. The stems, at least, I need to go over again. They're kind of looking really horrible, actually. I am not a dog owner, and I realize I'm not a dog owner. So, there. But if I did ever get a dog, I would make sure that my dog was trained. Because, you know, like, isn't that like part of the deal? Like, I guess, you know, like, it's one thing if a Chihuahua is like a little bit crazy. You know what I mean? Because, like, the Chihuahua can't kill you. And, like, strangers aren't going to be afraid. But I feel like if you choose to own a breed, like a pit bull, and they have certain, I think we can all agree, reputations. Like, if it had been a Chihuahua that had tried to attack my cat and accidentally scratched my foot, one, it couldn't have pushed me over. And two, if it had ran around, you know, on my property, I would not have been at the fear level that I was. I was at the fear level that I was during that because it was a big dog. And I hope that makes sense. Like, I feel like if you choose to own a big dog, then you're under extra obligation to make sure your big dog is trained better than if you just have like some tiny little dog. And I'm not saying that little dogs should not be untrained. I'm just saying there's more of an obligation to like make sure that it doesn't scare the crap out of people. You know, like you're under extra scrutiny when you choose to own a pit bull. Because they do have a reputation, and because they're big, and they're very muscular, and they're huge, and they could hurt somebody. So, and again, I'm just saying, like, a little lap dog is less likely to kill you. I'm not saying lap dogs don't bite more. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying. The severity is different too. Because like a little dog, like, you know what I mean? A Chihuahua would not have pushed me over. I'm trying to say this carefully because like, I know that like people love their dogs and they love their pets, and I get that. I really do. But it is your job to kind of control and contain them. And as I say that, I own an outdoor cat. So, yeah, I know. But how many cats go around biting people? My cat's never bit anyone. Well, that's not true. It's probably bit me, like, teasingly. But she's a good girl. And she's got her shots. And I think I've told you guys a million times already that she's not an indoor cat because I am allergic to her, 1. And 2, we did not adopt her. She adopted us. We did not want to be a pet owner. And we lived in a town at the time that was very small. It was 250 people. It had a grain silo, like a grain co-op with big, huge silos. So there were mice everywhere. Well, not really. Like, potentially mice everywhere. There were fields everywhere and stuff. So, there were just like stray cats all over the town. And we had no services where I lived. So there was no animal control. There was no shelters, animal shelters. Again, town of 250, very small. Our county did not have those services. And again, like very small town, very small county. And the cat just lived on my porch. So we did take care of it as best we could. We got her fixed. We got her shots. We did all the things. But one of the things we didn't do was ever put her in a house. Because again, she was just a stray feral cat. And I did it again. Oops, I did it again. There we go. I'm just scrubbing off the green that I accidentally got on. Okay. I know I need to do these again. I think I'm going to end my video though. I think this looks better. This is way too long of a video. It's supposed to be within 10 to 15 minutes and I just kept talking. I am so sorry. Anyway, I'll be back. The thumbnail will probably show a picture of this. You can go back and look at the other thumbnail and see that the green needed to be fixed. See, this is what happens. Like, it just takes forever. Forever. Every little thing ends up being like extra long. But I definitely need to fix and maybe go over it again. The problem is I was trying not to let it dry. I need to let it dry so I can go over it again, I think. Because, you know, I'm like, see the green paint? I just start dragging my hand and then dragging green paint. See, look, my little monster has green paint on him. This is the only Band-Aid I could find in the house that was latex free. Okay? Bye.